Julie looks effortlessly stylish in her camis slip dress as she takes a break outside, indulging in a smoke. The film artfully unfolds through 12 chapters, each offering us a window into Julie's life, beginning with her days as a dedicated medical student. Navigating life as a medical student has always presented its challenges, and in today's modern world, these challenges have intensified. The perpetual distractions, such as the incessant notifications on phones and the overarching global issues, create obstacles when it comes to concentrating on her studies. She experiences this mounting pressure to excel in her studies. To solve this, she switches her smartphone to a dumb one. Julie initially chose medicine because it's one of the toughest fields to get into, and she was told it would bring her happiness. She's deeply passionate about medicine, but recently, something seems amiss. It's as if a new world has opened up before her, and she's grappling with the implications of her choices. As Julie's life story unfolds, she comes across the field of psychology, and something just clicks for her. It's like she's found the piece that was missing in her life's puzzle. With this newfound clarity, she makes a bold move. She breaks up with her partner. It's a step towards taking control of her own future, a journey of self-discovery. But Julie's transformation doesn't stop there. In an act of rebellion against her old self, she goes for a big change in her looks. Her once ordinary hair is now a striking shade of pink. As she steps into her psychology class, she kind of expects her classmates to be surprised by her bold choice. To her surprise, they don't really react much. In the world of psychology, having pink hair is just like anyone else following their passions. Nevertheless, she still feels stuck in her role as the perfect student, eager to see what's beyond. Then, she starts a romantic relationship with her psychology professor. Julie's life takes an exciting turn when she falls in love with photography. She eagerly tells her ever-supportive mother about it, and her mom wholeheartedly supports Julie's new passion. Photography adds a spark to Julie's life, even though she knows it could be tough financially. With determination to follow her dreams, she starts using her student loans to buy camera gear. To support herself while studying photography, Julia takes a part-time job at a local bookstore. While juggling her studies and work, she not only improves her photography skills, but also makes meaningful friends. As she explores the realms of art and human connections, Julia finds herself attracted to a fascinating person with unique barbed wire decorations on their teeth. As she navigates the vibrant world of creativity and connections, Julia crosses paths with Axel, a renowned comic artist celebrated for his politically incorrect masterpiece, Bobcat. Although Julia feigns familiarity with Axel's work, she admits to herself that she only vaguely remembers a single script. Despite this, her fascination with Axel deepens, drawing her attention away from her previous boyfriend. Axel, though, ends his relationship with her due to the age gap. Axel expresses concerns about unintentionally collecting younger girlfriends, and decides to part ways with Julia. Initially, Julia maintains a nonchalant demeanor, assuring Axel that she's okay with the decision. Yet, as he elaborates on his reasons, Julia's true feelings surface. She's deeply in love with Axel. Recognizing the depth of her emotions, Julia takes a courageous step. She returns to Axel and, with a heartfelt kiss, mends the rift between them. This rekindles their love, leading to a pivotal decision. Julia moves into Axel's cozy apartment. As Axel and Julia bask in their love, it becomes evident that Axel adheres to certain rules in relationships. Despite the complexities, Julie finds herself experiencing a sense of perfect alignment, and feels that everything falls beautifully into place in her life. Chapter 1 kicks off with Julie joining Axel on a trip to his family's charming Nordic cabin. Despite the idyllic setting, Julie can't help but feel that Axel's mother has some reservations about her, especially Axel's sister, Karan. The constant stream of questions about their plans for children becomes increasingly irksome. During this period, Julie is exploring her passion for writing and reflecting on her own ambitions. However, Karan becomes quite intrusive, delving deeply into Julie's personal and professional life, especially her career decisions. Karan offers her viewpoint on the challenges that young individuals like Julie encounter in today's world. As their stay at Axel's family home continues, Julie witnesses Karan's struggles in persuading her daughter, Eva, to come inside. Eva clings to Julie's leg, only letting go when Karan intervenes. This first-hand experience sheds light on the demands of parenthood, a point Axel emphasizes in his discussions with Julie. Axel and Julie find themselves in disagreements, primarily centered around the topic of having children. Axel makes an effort to persuade her to contemplate the idea of starting a family, suggesting that she spend time with children to see if it resonates with her, all while subtly reminding her of her approaching 30s. Julie, on the other hand, remains resolute in her determination to chart her own course when it comes to parenthood. She is unsure about the sequence in which she wants to pursue her dreams, and confidently asserts her desire to have children on her own terms. The subject of having children becomes a problem for Axel and Julie, and eventually, Julie gets tired of these talks. Later in the day, the men in Axel's family have typical guy chats, including topics like sexual issues. When the discussion shifts to more feminist matters, Julie starts asking why a natural thing is still considered that people are uncomfortable talking about openly. Later on, they decide to have a little dance party. But it turns out most of the older family members are too tired to join in. Axel and Julie, seeming to have patched things up, hit the dance floor. Julie, in a playful mood, convinced a tired Karan to dance, despite her exhaustion. However, things take an unexpected turn when Karan's husband tries to lift her, leading to an unfortunate collision with a light fixture, resulting in a bleeding injury. Julie feels guilty, but Axel brushes it off as Karan being a bit dramatic. Axel acknowledges that it wasn't easy for Julie to fully immerse herself in his family's facade of a happy family, given her discomfort. Later that night, Julie and Axel, fearing the escalating argument between Karan and her husband, decide to sleep together. The next morning, Julie wakes up to the soothing sight of the ocean right in front of Axel's family home. She enjoys a cup of coffee while watching Axel spending quality time with his nieces and nephews, showering them with affection. Axel releases another book of Bobcat and gains recognition, setting the stage for the opening scene, where Julie finds herself smoking outside. This marks the beginning of Chapter 2, titled Cheating. At an exhibition party, she's asked about her career, and casually mentions working at a bookstore near the university, which fails to pique the interest of those she's conversing with. As the party progresses, fans crash the event, seeking autographs. Feeling somewhat bored and overlooked by Axel, Julie decides to leave early. She takes a moment to catch her breath as a train passes by, and her eyes seem teary as she walks along. Instead of heading home, she ends up in the city center and encounters women smoking. She asks for a cigarette and joins a party, which turns out to be a wedding reception. It's unclear whether she knows anyone there, so she opts to enjoy some wine and engage in conversation with random women. During the conversation, a woman talks about her kids and the importance of caring for them. Out of the blue, Julie brings up a fictional research claim that excessive cuddling can lead to children becoming. She defends her statement with fabricated scientific facts and pretends to be a doctor. The woman strongly disagrees, sparking a debate. Across the room, Julie notices a man named Ivan making eye contact and smiling at her. As the party unfolds, Julie and Ivan find themselves sitting together on a couch, engrossed in conversation. Julie continues to playfully maintain her pretense of being a doctor. However, she eventually admits that she crashed the party. Her demeanor shifts from teary-eyed to a genuine smile. Julie and Ivan have a chat about cheating in relationships, which is something Julie has on her mind. They talk about the boundaries for cheating, and even do playful things like biting each other's arms, sniffing armpits. They also share their deepest secrets, but Ivan's secret stays hidden, because Julie bursts into laughter. Despite getting closer, their interaction remains non-sexual. Julie discovers that she can be completely herself around Ivan, even feeling comfortable enough to fart in his presence. She genuinely enjoys her time with him. In the morning, after the party, they walk home together. When they reach a corner, they exchange names, but Julie decides not to learn his name to avoid potential stalking. They bid each other farewell, assuring that they haven't cheated on their respective partners. Chapter 3 begins with Julie finding herself writing about feminism and blowing trumpets. While she's editing photos one boring day, she looks at Axel, who is busy at his drawing board. She goes to Axel, wanting to say something, but exposes her chest to him. Axel jokingly ignores her. Then Julie starts writing about the correlation of feminism and women blowing the whistle. Julie lets Axel read it. Axel is really impressed by it, saying it is over the top and well written. She titles her piece, Big Whistle and the Age of Me Too, which is widely shared. Axel and Julie happily kiss and seem to relive their love. Later, the film quickly transitions to its fourth chapter, which focuses on Julie's own family. Julie celebrates her 30th birthday at her mom's place, who is already divorced. While staying there, Julie's father couldn't come, claiming an insufferable back pain. She complains that her father always complains about having a backache. Nonetheless, they celebrate her birthday with Eva, the grandmother, another woman in Julie's mom's house. The narrator talks about Eva, the grandmother, who has had 3 children and plays at the National Theater. Then, the narrative shifts to Julie's great-grandmother, up to the greatest great-grandmother, tracing back to her ancestors of women who lost their lives without even reaching the age of 30, having been married and having children. This is in stark contrast to Julie being 30, unmarried, and childless. She and Axel visit her dad, where she has to listen to her dad's detailed descriptions of the pains and troubles of being a senior citizen, including difficulty urinating. Julie receives a hiking jacket from her dad, which is very similar to her half-sister. Her half-sister inadvertently reveals that they skipped Julie's birthday to watch the tournament, exposing that her father lied about having back pains. Julie asks her dad about receiving the article she has written, but her dad does not know about computers, so he is unable to read it. It seems like he's making up excuses. Axel talks about Julie's article and compliments her. He also invites Julie's dad, Harold, to visit them in Oslo. But her dad keeps making excuses, like bad parking and needing painkillers, so he can't come. Julie can smell it, but Axel keeps pushing. And Julie starts to see that her dad doesn't really want to be involved with her. They both realize this during the bus ride. Chapter 5 is titled Bad Timing. While working at the bookshop, Julie notices Event browsing the sections. She tries to avoid Event, and at the same time, Sunniva approaches Julie in search of a specific book about green yoga. Event spots Julie, and they exchange glances. Sunniva appears disappointed with her book search and seems to have an attitude, though they still greet each other. Eventually, Event leaves, and Julie slumps her face on the counter. However, he returns, claiming he forgot his sunglasses, but then he confesses that he thinks about Julie a lot. He expresses a desire to talk to her more, and invites her to meet him at a cafe. Event leaves, but not before retrieving his sunglasses. Julie blushes, feeling a smile creep across her face. Later, Julie joins Axel and some friends and his brother for an intellectual discussion. Axel's intellectual friends make Julie feel left out. They engage in a discussion that leads to Axel complaining about the cleaning up of the movie adaptation of his politically incorrect comic book. He displays the movie poster and expresses his disappointment. Julie becomes lost in her thoughts again. Julie attempts to talk to Axel in the morning, but her zoning out intensifies to the point where, when she switches on the lights, she drifts into her own fantasy world. Time suddenly stops, and she experiences happiness again as she moves through a frozen world where everyone she passes is frozen in time. She heads straight to the cafe where Event works as a barista. Julie and Event share a kiss, and in her fantasy, they fall in love, free from guilt and their respective partners. Julie eventually leaves Event, but not without sharing a kiss before departing. She returns to her reality, back in their apartment with Axel. Julie appears very serious as she invites Axel to speak. She starts dropping hints to Axel that they are breaking up, and Axel gets the message that Julie wants to end their relationship. Axel, though remaining calm, questions Julie if she is in the right state of mind, or if she truly understands what she's doing. Julie firmly believes it's the right decision for her. Axel continues to probe, asking where she will live, seemingly doubting her ability to make decisions. He clings to the idea that their relationship can still be fixed. When he asks if Julie has met someone else, she lies. In the end, Axel accepts Julie's decision. She hugs him and tells him he deserves a better woman, who wants to have kids and isn't flaky. Axel continues to try to convince Julie, especially by expressing that he doesn't care about having kids or not. Axel becomes pushy, and Julie reaches a breaking point, confessing that she doesn't love him anymore, and feels like she's been playing a supporting role. An explosive argument ensues, with Axel not fully understanding Julie's point. Julie reaches a point of frustration and lets out all her pent-up feelings, detailing how she perceives Axel's treatment of her. In essence, Axel's overanalyzing and patronizing behavior towards Julie is at the core of her grievances. They end up getting intimate. As Julie is about to leave, Axel continues to try to stop her. In their final exchange, Julie suggests that they might get back together, and the narrator states that she means it. Chapter 6 takes us to the Finnmark Highlands, where Event and his girlfriend Sunniva go on a hiking and camping trip. While sleeping, Sunniva suddenly awakens and approaches a scavenging deer. Event observes Sunniva crying during this encounter. The narrator says that Event usually tells this exact moment as a funny story to other people. However, this incident triggers something within Sunniva. It's like a spiritual breakthrough. Sunniva becomes intensely interested in her ancestry and makes her own research to find out if she belongs. She even sends her DNA to America for analysis. The results reveal that she is 3.1% Sami, a native ethnicity commonly found in Nordic countries and Russia. Event starts to feel uneasy about Sunniva's newfound identity, especially when she becomes super involved in Sami rituals and traditions. Of course, Event supports her. It does not end there though. Sunniva's increasing militancy begins to change her lifestyle, and this transformation begins to affect Event as well. Sunniva becomes intensely committed to addressing climate change, because this greatly impacts the indigenous people. So their whole lives change 360 degrees, being environmentally conscious. Event is pulled into her world and has to adopt a sustainable lifestyle, memorizing a bunch of facts about how nearly everything they do, touch, or consume has the potential to harm the environment. The weight of guilt brought on by the perceived sins of capitalism bears heavily on Event. The scene shifts back to the wedding party, where Event spots Julie. Alvin has this growing guilt that he is the worst person in the world. Because for him, betraying Sunniva is like betraying the Sami people, too. Chapter 7, a new chapter. In this chapter, it's rainbows and roses for Event and Julie as they start a new phase in their lives, forming a fresh and vibrant relationship as they move in together. They appear genuinely content in each other's company. Unlike Axel, Event does not want kids. This is because kids cause overpopulation, and overpopulation causes environmental damage. It's all lovey-dovey from here. Interestingly, Event's dad, much like Julie's father, also seems to have a tendency to forget birthdays. The next chapter moves to 8 and focuses on Julie's narcissistic circus. They continue to host parties with their friends, enjoying each other's company. During one of these gatherings, Event's friend stumbles upon Event's stash of psychedelic mushrooms. Julie decides to ingest the mushrooms, which makes Event uneasy. Eventually, they consume all of it, Hours later, the effects of the psychedelic mushrooms begin to manifest in their guests, and Julie starts to feel the trip taking hold. Concerned for her well-being, Even tries to mitigate the effects by urging her to drink water, but it appears to be too late. Julie's perception becomes distorted as she envisions water beneath her, and she collapses onto the carpet. As the trip unfolds, Julie's consciousness goes in and out between her psychedelic experience and Evan's reality. She observes a mysterious substance on her cheek, which remains when she awakens. The apartment is in disarray, bearing the marks of Julie's tripping incident. Julie confides in Evan, expressing that she feels completely herself when she is with him. In response, Evan openly expresses his love for her, sealing the chapter with a moment of emotional connection between the two characters. Chapter 9 opens on Christmas as the Bobcat movie premieres. While at the gym, Julie sees Axel on the TV, giving an interview in which he is being pressed hard, especially about the controversial content of his comics. Axel finds himself in hot water for his misogynistic cartoons. Julie continues to watch as Axel defends himself in the interview, explaining that he is just expressing himself through satire as an artist. He attempts to find a loophole to justify the kind of work he is doing. Julie observes Axel seemingly immolating himself as he continues to blame feminists for twisting the interpretation of his art. The woman interviewing Axel fights back, engaging in a heated debate. Chapter 10 commences with first-person singular, as Julie opens the bookshop on a snowy day. She spots Axel's brother and inquires about Axel. His brother reveals that Axel has pancreatic cancer, and it has progressed rapidly. Axel's prognosis is grim, as it's now in an advanced stage, rendering it incurable. Julie is shocked by this revelation, as she had no prior knowledge of Axel's illness. What's even more challenging is that Axel is currently facing backlash for the controversial radio interview. Later at home, Evan discovers one of Julie's short stories. When Julie returns, Evan expresses his admiration for her writing, but suggests that it might be autobiographical rather than a work of fiction, as Julie intended. Julie reacts defensively, snatching the story away and feeling insulted by Evan's critique. Later, Julie confronts Evan, using harsh words to belittle him, suggesting that he lacks a deep appreciation for literature and is destined to grow old merely serving coffee. Evan is deeply hurt by Julie's patronizing words and walks away, wounded by their exchange. Chapter 11, titled Positive, begins with Julie feeling sick and discovering that she's pregnant. When Evan comes home, Julie hides the wand. She's upset, but can't bring herself to tell Evan about the pregnancy. Julie visits Axel at the hospital, where he's getting thinner due to his illness. They chat about their lives since their breakup. Axel talks about his love for music, collecting comics and books, and his regrets and fears about passing away. Julie feels comfortable enough to share something with Axel. The next morning, Axel has surgery again. Julie hints to Axel that she's pregnant, and admits it. She's scared and unsure about what to do. Axel reassures her, saying he believes she'll be a good mom. Axel asks if she'll keep the baby, and Julie isn't sure. They talk about their past, and Axel asks if Julie met Evan before they broke up. Axel shocks Julie by asking if she plans to break up with Evan, because she doesn't seem happy about the pregnancy. Julie goes back home and tells Evan about the pregnancy. She knows he doesn't want kids, so she needs time to think about their relationship. They hug and cry together. In Chapter 12, titled All Things Come to an End, Julie accompanies Axel, whose cancer has progressed to the point of causing hair loss. Axel takes Julie to the place he lived when he was young, and she photographs him. Julie encourages Axel to share his personal story in that apartment. While in the car, Axel opens up to Julie about the immense physical and emotional pain he is enduring. He expresses a desire to live with Julie in that apartment once more. Julie continues her life, working in the bookshop. She receives a call from Axel's brother, who informs her that Axel's condition is deteriorating rapidly, and he may not make it through the night. Overwhelmed by sadness, Julie goes to the hospital area and takes a walk. As she walks, the sunset paints the sky, and she sheds tears. Later, Julie showers and notices that she is bleeding. Strangely, after her shower, she is teary-eyed, but then it turns to a smile. It can be implied that she has a miscarriage, or she just likes smiling. It is unknown for now. In the epilogue, the last chapter, the scene begins with a man breaking up with a woman. The woman's expression is vividly sad, until the director says cut, instructing her to show tears. In the background, Julie is present, taking headshots of the female actress. She has now become an on-site photographer. She lifts up the actress's spirits, who is having doubts about her skills. Outside, Julie sees the actress going to Evan, who is carrying a baby. It appears that the actress and Evan have started a family together. The movie ends with Julie returning home alone, to edit the photos of Evan's partner and mother of his child.